So we have this box from eBay. Found what looked to be a half decent lowering kit for the GMC. That makes sense. Oh boy. Sick. I never thought I'd be duped into buying anything max speeding rods. Should be a little bit better than what we got going on here. So we have this box from eBay. Found what looked to be a half decent lowering kit for the GMC. And the packaging is superb. Every corner is like torn and ripped, so you can tell it's been flopping its way from China or wherever this came from over here. That makes sense. Oh boy. Well, at least it's not their coilovers. Sick. I never thought I'd be duped into buying anything max speeding rods. Here we are. So this is the swing relocation brackets for the rear. So this is the front bracket and the rear leaf spring. Another front one. Then we have these shock shackles. Looks like maybe a 1 inch and a 2 inch, or 2 and 3 inch. But yeah, that'll drop the back of the leaf spring. Bushings look blue. Back working on the truck. Got the lowering shackles in the rear. And brought it back down to a reasonable level, front and rear. They're pretty much even, kind of hard to tell. But the truck's pretty level the way it is now. However, it's still not quite as low as what we would like. Want to drop it just a little bit more. And then we do have the front knuckles to go yet. So I think once we get the spring mount on the back end of this, we're gonna do the front knuckles as well. We're at, this is kind of bubbling because of the rust, but right about 4, the angle's kind of weird there, 4 1/4, I'd say. 4 inches, 4 1/4 to the top of the tire. So came down a little bit. I think it was at like 5 or right at 5. I thought it should have lowered it a little bit more in the back with just the shackles, because at the lowest setting, but regardless, that is loose, so we're gonna pop that off and then get to the front mounts. We gotta grind them off, and then yeah, after we do that, we'll be exposing the frame, so we'll probably clean the frame up, coat that while we have it off, and yeah, have this thing sitting proper. Pretty much got this thing off by myself. Not saying it's the safest thing, but took my time. Can't lean it up because the garage door is extra low compared to most garage doors. So I'm just gonna leave it there for now. That'll at least give me access to the front mounts here for the spring. What we gotta do is grind off all these and put the new bracket on. And bracket off, had to grind that guy from the back side as it's really tight getting in here with the bed bracket on there. But all cleaned up, sprayed a quick coat of paint, and then gonna let it dry a little bit longer, and then we'll get this bracket on. Like so, and that should drop it another 2 inches in theory. These two are just a pain to get to. Usually you cut like an X in them and get an air hammer, or we have the manual in here and just hammer it off. So not too bad. got these things on. I'm gonna tighten this one down. Just kind of ground them off from the back end so we can access them fairly easily. And yeah, coming along. So we got the rear shackles on as before. We got the front hangers on. These actually weren't too bad. Once I had the cutoff wheel in there, kind of made light work of it. Not too bad, even with them being so close to the bed mount. But we did find quite a bit of rust when we pulled the tank, and whatever that is. So that one's rusted pretty good, and then this one is the worst one. This one's pretty bad. Very common with these things because the fuel tank just sits up against there and it just holds moisture and leaves and whatever just gathers there, and then obviously takes a toll on that. This back one's not too bad. That hanger's a little crusty, and then the back, the very far back one here, is a little crusty as well. But I think once we grind it all down and get a solid coat of 415 or paint or something on there, it'll be good enough. So we got the cross members delivered. This one was in great shape when it showed up. Just metal, I guess, but not real thrilled about it. But we're gonna eye it up with the old one to make sure it's right. It said it fit 1500, but in the description it listed it for 2500 and 3500. And then this one, this is the front cross member. This one was obviously packaged much nicer. They actually decided to use some packing stuff and wrapped it real nice and everything. So, and it's dual thickness cardboard. But yeah, you're gonna throw them up against the truck, make sure they're right, and keep moving. We're gonna take the truck up to a friend that's gonna cut and weld these in for us, because I'm not a welder, but he does it for a living. So you can cut and weld them in, these two, and then hopefully we'll be able to blast or strip all the rust and the old paint and stuff off the frame. Don't want to go too crazy, but while the bed's off, we really want to take care of that, clean up the back of the cab because it's all gross, and then we can put the bed back on, see where she sits with the lowering shackles and front mounts. The front one was actually painted too. Pretty impressed with that brand or seller or whatever, so I'll probably refer to them if I need another one at some point. Anyways, the back one is the one I was more concerned about because I saw this and I wasn't sure if that was supposed to be there or if they welded it on in properly. But factory shock also is at a little bit of an angle. Maybe not that aggressive, but it's kind of hard to tell. But everything looks like it's gonna line up fine. The bar itself is gonna go through the frame, as you can see the factory one does as well. So I'll have to cut that out to weld that one in. And it has these plates that come with it to weld on either side of the frame, kind of reinforce it and make sure she ain't going nowhere. Should be a little bit better than what we got going on here. Nice sunny day in Pennsylvania. Got the bed flipped over, checking out for rust since we just finished coating the frame. Got that all welded up. Besides like the fenders here, they obviously have a little bit of rust going on. This one's not too bad actually. The other side has a few more like splitting at the body. There it comes together here, you can kind of see it. But honestly not bad for how bad these can get, especially if they come with flares. So I think for now we'll probably just coat this in like a rust preventative spray so it doesn't keep expanding. But the rest of the bed looks actually really good. So we got like little surface rust here on all the beams really, but like they're not rotted out, they're not rusted out, they're pretty solid. This is like the worst section right there, but even that's not too bad. A lot of times these will rust out and rot, and then you just have like a floppy bed on the back, or like the mounts will be rusted out where you bolt it into the frame and it'll just be like flopping around. My S10 was that way. but very happy with how this is looking so far. This is the last thing that we have to spray and clean up before we throw it back on the truck. So in this one, try pulling this out of the clamp and it started leaking. So we gotta replace this section here. Got a part here, quarter line, 7/16 fitting. And then we're gonna flare either end and put unions in there for a little patch. A lot of people don't talk about this enough, but put your fitting over the line before you flare it. Before you flare it, put it over before you flare it. All right, that's all. Got the 2 lines flared. Got her all in there now. These things are just too shiny for my camera to focus, I guess. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. And then being that it's in the middle here, we can obviously still use the factory clip to hold it in place. We'll bleed the brakes, throw this thing back in the ground. In the meantime, might find a fix for this whole broken vacuum line. Emissions bogus. And then we put the bed back on and get rolling. So the truck had some rusted out lines underneath, right around the fuel filter area, which is kind of unfortunate because it means you have to do yet one more thing before we can put the bed on. So instead of doing like the factory style stainless lines to replace them so they don't rust out, opted for some Evil Engineering lines. Got some Pt.2 got a whole kit here, 25 foot of that, and got our Evil Energy fuel filter here. So my plan, and then we got -6, 8, and 10 adapters for the ends here. Obviously we're using -6. So my plan is to run the line that has little factory GM style connectors in here somewhere. Anyways, has connectors to connect right to the fuel pump on top here, like factory. So we're gonna pop these 2 off. This is just the vent line, and then we're gonna route them underneath